My oldest boy is Tim. He's a great preacher. He could preach circles around his dad. He's a great preacher. Preaching all over the world. Now, I'm not saying, well, maybe I'm bragging, I don't know. But thousands of people have been converted under his ministry. One day when he was about 20, he was still home, living at the house. And we had it set up so the phone would ring at the church office and at the parsonage so that we could catch all the phone calls when we weren't at the church. Well, one day a phone call came in and Tim picked it up over at the house. And just so nosy as I was, I picked it up at the church. And I began to listen to the conversation of this, my son, and this other fellow that he was talking to. They were talking about some party that they had been to the night before. And they were drinking and who knows what else. And somehow or other, Tim picked up that I was on the phone, and when he got off, he knew his dad had heard what he said. I was so crushed. I didn't raise my boy for that kind of stuff. He was in college, and one of his colleagues was a preacher's boy too, Presbyterian, I believe. But anyway, I fell on the floor in my office. And I began to pray, oh God, I didn't raise Tim for the devil. I raised him for you. And Lord, he's out carousing and fooling around, messing into sin. Now, devil, you can't have my boy. I want you to know right now, he's my boy, he's not your boy, and you can't have my boy. And Lord, you know what I'm saying. I know the devil wants him. He wants to destroy him. He wants to destroy me and my testimony. Ruin a whole life. Now, Lord, and I talk to the devil. Oh, I still talk to the devil. I tell him where to head in. I tell him where to take a jump. Every once in a while, he said, I wouldn't do that. No, you wouldn't do nothing. But that night it was Wednesday, and I was at church preparing a message to preach. And right in the middle of my message, Tim came. They never miss church; they're always there. He sat way in the back, and right in the middle of my sermon, right in the middle of it, he came forward right down the aisle. He stood right down like that. I said, Tim, what's the matter, son? He said, Dad, I'm not saved. I said to the car, would you, Martin, folks, just give me a few minutes. And I stepped down there and I went through the plan of salvation, told him how to be saved. He made a profession. And I baptized him the next Sunday. He said, oh, that was all hunky-dory. Well, it wasn't. About 3 months later, we'd all gone to bed. The whole family was in bed. Tim was in bed too. He got home a little late, but he was in bed. And he got up in the night and came into where my bedroom was. And, Dad, would you mind coming to the bedroom? And I said, no, I'm glad to. So I said, Tim, what do you want? He said, Dad, I made a profession of faith when I was a little boy, 7 years of age. And I really misunderstood the invitation. Anyway, whatever it was, he said, I would come there. You remember about 2 or 3 months ago, I came forward and he stopped me. I don't, He said, Dad, I'm not saved. I know I'm not saved. And I'm right back doing the same thing that I was doing before. I said, well, son, my gracious, I'm so sorry. Let's get down here in the bedroom and let's pray. And he did, made a prayer. I said, Tim, are you saved? He said, I don't think anything happened, Dad. I said, Tim, you got to be honest. I can't do that. You'll have to be perfectly honest and shoot straight with God. And he'll shoot straight with you. You've got to be perfectly honest, rip it out by the roots, confess it all. Ask God to wash you, cleanse you, fill you. So he did. And when he got through that fourth prayer, he got in. And when he got in, he really got in. He was in secular college, junior college. He'd already had a junior degree, and smart as a whip. Kid has an IQ of 140. He's pretty smart. Smarter than his dad, I'll tell you that. But anyway, he had planned on going to another state school, and he had his little Oldsmobile, and for some reason he reached into the glove compartment to get something in a ballpoint pen scooped up in his hand. When he looked at the ballpoint pen, it said Midwestern Baptist College. Just like that, he said, that's where I'm going to go to college. I'm not going to go to the state college. I'm going to go to that college. And he went to Midwestern. He wasn't there very long, just a matter of a month or two. And he was called to preach. And I'm just trying to tell you, he's preached around the world. Now, when I told you previously, you say your child's a Christian, they're saved. You better be careful about saying that. One has to make an intelligent prayer to get saved. You have to have somewhat of an understanding of what you're doing when you do it. Now, don't put down everything and say, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying your child isn't saved if you got saved at 1 or 2. But it's very unlikely. I don't know how many times my wife's sitting over there. She made a profession when she was 12 years of age. But she never really got saved until she was 26. You do what you want to do. Go ahead. I'm an old man. I'm just one step of the undertaker. He's going to catch me one of these days. But I'm telling you I said I'm preaching out of the overflow. I'm just telling you. Keep your kids in church. You drop out of church, you start being a church hopper and go to this one and that one and the other, your kids are going to lose interest. You're ruining your life. You're that apt. You say, I didn't like what the preacher said. Shut your mouth. You're dumb. You're dumb. You don't even know what you're talking about. I'm not trying to put you down, but man, somebody has character and preaches, and most preachers are good people. There may be a few jerks once in a while, but most of them are godly people. If you're as separated and consecrated and dedicated your life to go into the ministry, especially went out and had some training and you know what you're doing and where you're going, you got your head screwed on right, and then some little peanut brain in the church said, I don't like my knees. Peter Lincoln one time said, I don't mind getting swallowed by a whale, but he said, eaten by those minnows, that's really bothers me. I'm just preaching, I'm just talking to you. But I'm saying stay in the flock. It's the best place for you, for your children, and for your interest. Now it is it's 10 minutes after 12 in Michigan. It's time to quit. Let me just give you the rest of my line. I won't preach it. We got rock, and we've got block, and we've got flock, and the next one is dock. The dry dock. You put your children in dry dock. That is, you put them in a Christian school, or else you homeschool. I'm not going to argue about that. Some's good, some bad, some whatever. But you don't turn your kids loose to the Lyons and put them over in the public school. If you want to salvage your children,